What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Jeremy One Sosa, aka Sith Lord Zeke, man. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you guys my dogmatika slash what is this? Invoked. We're playing dogmatika slash invoked slash shaddolls. And yeah, you guys, I just want to bring you guys a quick list. It's pretty standard. Here we are running 2 maxi. We're running 2 of the Ash Blossom. We're running Red Shaddoll Windy. We're running the 1 Skullmeister, the 1 Shaddoll Sclamata, the 1 Shaddoll Dragon. We're playing 3 Alistair. Of course, we have to max out on Alistair so that we can see him. You want to see Alistair as much as possible, you know. But not only that, we have the Nest Shaddoll Ariel. We have the 3 Nemesis Corridor. Nemesis Corridor is like the second play next to Alistair that you want to have in your hand when you're starting out, because you can go into your Thunder Dragon Colossus to stop your opponent from searching cards out of their deck. You know, so for anybody that's beginning to play this deck or start this deck, you definitely want to play Nemesis Corridor, because he's a really good card. He actually recurs cards from your banish pile. So a lot of times I would like banish Maximus, or you know, whatever I have available that I need to fuse with invocation that I need to banish with Alistair. I could just pretty much retrieve it back with Nemesis Corridor. He's a really good card that I really like. A lot of times you like to see him. I actually added in Thunder Dragon Fusion so that I can search him, but I ended up taking it out because I felt like sometimes that you want to just discard the card, and sometimes the deck just have a hard time discarding, or sometimes even like drawing cards. So you have to really manage your resources with this deck. We have the 1 Dogmatika Ecclesia, the Virtuous. A lot of builds are playing 3. I'm playing 1 because, like I said, you can pretty much recycle with Nemesis Corridor, and you can recycle her back as well with the Psyframe Lord Omega. A lot of times you'll see in a replay that in this replay you'll see me do it like multiple times, you know, with Maximus on the field. But yeah, you know, we'll get to that. And here we have the Shaddoll Beast. I think this is the last Shaddoll monster in the main deck. Beast is good for drawing you cards. And then we decided to go ahead and put in the Mystery Dust Kaiju in the end, because a lot of times we find it kind of hard to break boards. So we just went ahead and put in Kaiju. 2 Kaijus, as a matter of fact. And then we have to finish off the Dogmatika. We have Fleur de Lis and we have Maximus. These Dogmatika Fleur de Lis is pretty much a hand trap. It's kind of like an effect veiler from the hand. So if your opponent doesn't stop it from the hand, by the time it hits the field, it just will negate your opponent's monster. And you also get a 500 boost on your Dogmatika monsters with it once it attacks. Maximus, I've already talked about him. He helps you mill like your extra deck into the graveyard so that you can get your effects for your monsters. And then we have Nibiru, the Primal Being. This card came in clutch in like a few duels as well. So you know, I don't know, man. I'm kind of iffy between this card and Effect Veiler. I kind of want to play Effect Veiler, but we don't have it yet. So right now we're playing Nibiru, the Primal Being. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it doesn't. We have the Harpy's Feather Duster. I recycled this card as well with the Psyframe Lord Omega as well. So it just depends on what you want to recycle with it. So we have the Terraforming. This also allows you to search out your field spell so that you can then further search out your Alistair the Invoker. All right, and then we have the 1 Shaddoll Fusion. At first, I wasn't playing this card, but then I decided to go ahead and put it in because it's a good top deck card. Like, this card is just too good. I'm not sure if other builds was playing this card. I think a lot of builds were just playing the Schism. But yeah, I decided to go ahead and just throw in the Shaddoll Fusion just to top deck it. and you know you can discard it if you want to, and then you can get it back with your shaddoll construct. So you know, or any of your shaddolls, they can revive, they can recover the card for you. All right, and then we have the one invocation. I think some builds are playing like 2 or 3 or something like that, but I just decided to play one because sometimes, like I say, at the beginning of the play, you might start out with that invocation in your hand, and you might not have an Alistair, so that's pretty much a brick, you know. So we want to minimize the amount of bricks that we could possibly have turn one. It's already hard sometimes getting having Alistair consistently in your hand or the field spell sometimes. So we just want to minimize it to that. All right, and then we have the one Nadir Servant. A lot of times I will recover this card as well with the Frame Lord Omega as well. But this could actually get a card, get Frame in the graveyard, so you can recover a card that you used previously that turn as well. So. And then we have the 2 pots of prosperity. I was running at 3. I decided to put it at 2 for some reason. I think I was just trying to make space, but you can run it at 2 or 3. This is just my personal preference. And then we have the 2 magical meltdowns. So having the 2 meltdowns in the terraforming is almost like having 3 meltdowns, you know. So that's basically what that is. And then we have the Call by the Grave. This card is at 2. You can run it at 2. I run it at 1 because I only have 1. And then we have the Cross-Eyed Designator. So Cross-Eyed Designator and Call by the Grave are they do this. Well, they do the same thing, but one is more powerful than the other. Call by the Grave is just more powerful because once it negates your opponent's effect, your opponent's monster effect, they can't activate that same effect on the next turn. So yeah. And Cross-Eyed Designator is just like, it's a really, really good card, you know. All right, so we have the Forbidden Droplets as well. Run those at 2. We run the Infinite Impermanence at 1, and then we have the Unending Nightmare at 2. I was running what was it, Twin Twisters? I was running Twin Twisters, but I felt like I wanted something that stuck to the field, you know, something that I can, you know, pay life points with, and you know, just you know, be able to continuously have something for my opponent to have to deal with, you know. So I decided to put 2 in so that I can see it more. You might want to run 3 if you don't have Harpy's Feather Duster, but I figured like these 2 and Harpy's Feather Duster is kind of like having 3 of what you need, you know. Okay, Kismo, I got you, bro. All right, and then we have the shaddoll Schism to round off the list. Schism is just a very powerful card because a play that you could do is on your opponent's turn, you could actually flip this card once they summon a monster, and then special summon out your you can special summon out a Abkalon, or you can special summon out a El Shaddoll Winder. Winder will stop your opponent if they special summon. You'll special summon Winder before they special summon their monster. And then on top of that, if their monster attribute is the same, the Schism will send that card that was summoned from the field to the graveyard. So Schism is very powerful. And also you can recover it as well with any Shaddoll monster, or you can recover it. It's just plenty of ways to recover it in this deck. All right, and so for the extra deck, we have Elder Entity Entis. This card, you want to send it with when you summon the Maximus to the field, you want to send this card with the Frame Lord Omega, because what she'll do is she'll pop a card once she's sent to the graveyard, and then Omega can recover her in itself back to the extra deck so that you can have a follow-up for the next turn to pop another card on the field as well. So yeah, she's a pretty good card. These 2 cards, you never actually summon them to the field. They're just to recur cards for you from the graveyard. All right, and then we have the Shaddoll Winder. You guys know what this card does. She recovers from the graveyard and stops your opponent from just special summoning. She can't be destroyed by card effects. So they would have to actually attack over her, and most of the time you have her at 3,200 at max, because you'll probably have like a Alistair in hand or something like that. So sometimes it's just hard for them to even get over her unless they kaiju her, you know. And then we have the Invoked Raijin. Invoked Raijin is pretty good, you know. He's your Book of Moon for the deck. And then we have El Shaddoll Abkalon. We have the Invoked Purgatrio. This card is used to close out games. someone just closed out a game on me with this card. So, you know, the card is pretty good, you know. And when they did it, it kind of reminded me of Duel Links back in Duel Links days when we would just finish our opponents off with Purgatrio, you know. And that's exactly what happened. I got finished off by Purgatrio. All right, then we have El Shaddoll Construct. You know, Construct is just, man, this card is just, man, she just really gets rid of like a lot of problems, man. Yeah, Purg OTK. Yeah, she gets rid of a lot of problems, man. You know, and so when you summon her to the field, if your opponent has a light monster, if you summon it off of Schism, Schism will send off a light monster if they have a light monster on the field. I believe that's how Schism works. One monster you control with that same attribute. Yep. So, yep, that's how it works. Okay, and then we have the Thunder Dragon Colossus. But also, El Shaddoll Construct can actually get your plays going, because when she's summoned to the field, she can send a card from the deck to the graveyard, a Shaddoll card from the deck to the graveyard. And you can send your Shaddoll Windy off of that. You can send Sclamata off of that. Sclamata will then send more. And yeah, you know, so she just pretty much, you know, get your plays going. And then when she hits the graveyard, she recover a card for you as well. So, all right, and then we have the Thunder Dragon Colossus. You guys know what this does. It just stops your opponent from searching cards. You know, they can still draw. So if it's a mirror match and they have beast set down and they flip the beast, they can still draw 2 cards. So, yeah. And then we have the Envoked Guides. I cannot pronounce this card. I'm gonna just have to get my phone and type it in and then hit the sound button so that it can pronounce the card for me. You know what I'm saying? That type of card. But yeah, you guys, this card is a really good card as well. It's almost like a Schism. When it's summoned to the field, what it does is it sends a card that was when it's special summoned, it sends one of your opponent's monsters to the graveyard. So when your opponent special summons a card from to their side of the field that turn, you can send that card from the field to the graveyard. I think it's destruction. I'm not really sure. Yeah, you could destroy it and send it to the graveyard. All right, and then we have the one Titanic Clad, the Ash Dragon. This card is used you never summon this card as well. You send it to the graveyard and you special summon Ecclesia from the deck onto the field, and then you get Ecclesia's effect to add the Fleur de Lis, or you can add the Maximus, whichever missing piece that you need. All right, and then Envoked Mechaba. I get this card name confused as well. I can't remember if it's Mechaba or Macabre, but I like calling it Macabre. And when I say Macabre, it don't feel right, so I say Mechaba, you know. But yeah, so we run 2 of this because it's a very powerful card. It's an Omni Negate, I believe, and it's not once per turn, or it's once per turn, but it's not a hard once per turn. So if you summon this card on the field and you have 2 on the field, you can actually negate with 1, and then you can negate with the other one as well. And if you have 3, you can negate with another one. So it's not a hard one. If it's not a hard once per turn. You guys know what Cyframe Lord Omega does. He returns your cards from the graveyard. And then we have the Secure Gardener. Secure Gardener is really good. Sometimes you want to leave this card on the field if you're dealing with effect damage, or your opponent decides they want to try to attack into you and like deal you battle damage. It'll protect you once per turn that way. All right, and then we have El Mirage. El Mirage is pretty much used for you to go into Secure Gardener. This is a 1-turn play where you summon Alistair, you search out Invocation, and then you tribute off the Alistair to special summon the Solomon Great. Well, you link it off to summon the El Mirage, and then you link the El Mirage off into the Secure Gardener, because Secure Gardener can only be summoned with a Cyrus monster. So this is your 1-turn play, you know. And then we have the Predaplant Verte Anaconda. You guys know what this guy does. So yeah, you know. Yeah. So yeah, you guys, this is pretty much the deck list. I hope you guys enjoy the replay. Like, comment, subscribe on the video, share it if you really if the information was helpful to you. But yeah, it's your boy Jeremy One Sosa, aka Sith Lord Zeke, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out. Peace.